I love to read. It's a semi-new discovery. I didn't start reading for leisure until college, but I digress. And then one of my neighbors dared to say praise be to me. Yeah, no. What is up, good people and citizens of the wonderful world of sports? My name is Shamir A, and this is the Skybox Diva podcast YouTube hybrid, a one-of-a-kind place on the internet where you'll find sports coverage and content from the unique perspective of a sport-savvy diva. And today is Woman Cave Wednesdays, where I have content planned exclusively for my ladies. But I am doing something a little bit different. I'm just going to bring you inside of the woman cave and let you all know what I've been doing in my free time aside from catching up on sports and working on sports content. I love to read. I love to read. It's a semi-new discovery. I didn't start reading for leisure until college, but I digress. So I'll be talking about the books I've been loving, the shows I've been watching, the music I've been listening to, girl. We're about to get into it. So for starters, I have been gravitating a lot towards fantasy fiction, specifically fantasy written by Black women. Now, all of these authors aren't Black women. Most of them are, but I've reveled in just fantasy written by Black women because I didn't always see that. So that's the general theme of my book collection, and all these are books that I purchased recently. So thank you to the Amazon workers. You guys are, I love you. So right now I'm reading 2 books at a time. One is More Than Enough by Elaine Welteroth. I hope I'm saying her name correctly. I'm reading this, starting my day off with this book. It's been amazing so far. It's a memoir style book. I wouldn't necessarily say self-help, but obviously I can pull a lot of inspiration from it. For those of you who don't know, she is the editor of Teen Vogue magazine. So yeah, this has been on my radar for a really long time, and I finally got it. And I'm really enjoying it so far. So this is the first book that I've been reading. I have been reading Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. Again, I hope I'm not saying the name incorrectly. This book is phenomenal so far. I've been speeding through these pages. I anticipate to be done by the end of the week. I'll just read the back synopsis of it to tell you a little bit about what it's about. So they killed my mother, they took our magic, they tried to bury us, now we rise. And on the last video, I mentioned that my go-to YouTube videos these days are TBRs, book hauls, book reviews, and this has gotten so much praise. And when I went to look at the interviews from this young lady landed, I believe, a $15 million book deal at the age of 25. Incredible. Well worth it. Just an amazing book. I can't wait to get through it. And I also picked up the second book with the sequel to it. I'm not sure if this is a duology or an ongoing series, but this is the second book. So I have both of these books, and I am so excited to get through them. Next on my list is a book that I started reading before, but I did not finish, and that is Becoming by Michelle Obama. Another memoir style book that has been on my radar for a while. I haven't started back reading this, but I probably will after I finish the More Than Enough book. But yeah, this is Becoming by Michelle Obama, just finding her voice, being the wife of the president, having her own campaigns and stuff like that. So a book I just finished reading, incredible book by the way, is Queen of the Conquered by Kacen Callender. This book is absolutely amazing. It was a little hard to get through at first because a lot of the names and places are Danish and Dutch inspired, or Dutch names, Danish names. So the pronunciation was hard in my head, but I'm so glad I continued on and let the story just, let the story unfold, because over time, the repetition of the words, it just kind of became familiar. So that was really cool. This book is so, and I'm not going to do reviews or anything on this, but this book was phenomenal. It was just it had a gorgeous atmospheric setting, but it was also full of gore and heavy topics for a fantasy book. Because I think it pulled a lot from the slave trade, specifically when it came to the Caribbean islands and stuff like that. So, yeah, excellent book, excellent cover. This cover is wow. And this is the first book of a duology, I believe. So King of the Rising is the book after this, but I won't be able to get it until December. It doesn't come out until December. So very great book. Can't wait to read more of her work. This is the first book I've read by this author. I also have a book that has been highly suggested on BookTube, and that is Sawkill Girls by Claire Legrand. And this is, from what I know, this is just basically about girls from Sawkill Rock or girls in Sawkill Rock who came to this town after girls have been mysteriously missing. So it sounded like a really cool book to get into. I obviously hadn't started reading it yet, but I was compelled by the storyline, the cover, how people were raving about it. So hopefully I enjoy this book. And the last but not least is a book that I was initially disappointed by for a few different reasons, but mostly because it was super late getting here. And the person who created the book said that she mentioned on the website that they were pre-order, but she did not, and I paid a lot of money for it. Well, not a lot of money for it, but I paid over $25 for it. And the second part of the disappointment was I felt like it could have been an ebook. But what can you do? Set your price and move on. So this is B. Simone's Baby Girl Manifest the Life You Want. I am actually really glad that I got this book, though. That was the saving grace, because it had a lot of interesting prompts to think about. It looked like a lot of thought was put into this project. So I keep this by my nightstand. I look through it every night, and I work through the different things, different activities and stuff. And yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I love her. She is absolutely amazing at marketing, manifesting. I've been watching her journey on YouTube, and I will leave her channel linked in the description box so you guys can check her out. But she is a phenomenal woman, phenomenal. So yeah, that wraps it up. I'm actually waiting for a couple more books. I think one of the books is Daisy Jones and the Six. I was really intrigued by that storyline because I'm really into 80s grunge and 70s rock and stuff like that. From what I heard about the book, it was like the Fleetwood Mac band, and I really enjoyed Fleetwood Mac growing up. Speaking of Fleetwood Mac, that's when we get into music. So for music, I've been listening to a lot of old school rock and roll. I'm kind of doing research for a project that I'm working on, but I do love the 70s, 80s rock era. Also 90s, coming into 90s, but 90s was starting to, R&B was starting to take over at that time. But yeah, 70s, 80s rock and roll, Lenny Kravitz, Fleetwood Mac, they've been on my radar. I also have 2 playlists of the songs that I've been listening to in heavy rotation on my personal blog, so I will leave those playlists linked below. Check those out. They're available on Apple Music and Spotify. And as far as what I've been watching, whoever suggested Handmaid's Tale, you can go to yes, so I got into Handmaid's Tale. I watched the whole first season. Very dark, very heavy show, especially considering how our government system is set up now. It reminded me a lot of martial law. And I was just, it was a lot. It was a lot of triggers happening in that show for me. But I couldn't take my eyes away from it. It was like watching a train wreck, literally. So I think I hit episode 3 of season 2. And then one of my neighbors dared to say, "Praise be to me." Yeah, no. I need to leave that show alone. It's too close to home, too close for comfort. I can't do it. But it's very well written. It's very creative. The acting is stellar. So Yeah, but I'm not gonna finish watching it. I also watched Little Fires Everywhere. That was an interesting show. I had a lot of thoughts about that show. I probably won't be watching season 2 just because I don't know how it could have ended after that. They ended it very well. Um, and Izzy is the GOAT. Okay, if you watch the show, you know who Izzy is. Izzy is GOAT. Okay, I loved her character. What else have I watched recently? I should have made a list.
Well, you're ahead.
What do you mean?
Just stop. Quit before you get to the one that broke your heart.
Nope, I'm doing it.
Okay, sure.
Good Trouble is a series that I'm binging on now. I kind of stopped mid second season, I believe, but I will still be continuing to watch that show. It's a really interesting show. It's about two sisters who moved to California to chase their dreams, but different than most tropes that you hear about people moving to out west. One is a lawyer, a practicing lawyer, and the other one is in the tech field. So I thought that was a cool spin on people moving west to pursue their dreams. Their dreams are in, fields that you don't typically see women in on film, at least. So that wraps it up. That's all the stuff I've been loving media wise. Let me know what you guys have been reading, listening to, and watching. It's very important during this time. I just want to reiterate that we need hobbies during this time. Like, selling fear is very real. And also what I'm learning about diving into fantasy books that really make you think outside of your box that you're in. So I would encourage everybody to get a hobby. Expand your mind, use your knowledge, and yeah, make the most of the time that we've given. So that about wraps it up. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, share, talk to me on social media. I'll leave all my links down in the description box, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.